Hello, welcome to Thor Talk, the show all about Marvel's resident god of thunder. On this episode of Thor Talk, Sigurd Stark returns to Asgard to free it from Malekith of the Ten Rings. But why then does the Iron Hammer kneel before Madame Hel? Let's find out on Thor Talk.
I am Thor the Thunderer, son of Odin, prince of Asgard, and this world is under my protection.
Iron Hammer number 2 was written by Al Ewing and was published in October of 2018. The story begins in a Norwegian forest, where Sigurd Stark has buried his friends Algrim Vanko and Eitri the Dwarf, casualties in Malekith's war. Stark swears that he will kill Malekith, but realizes that he will need the secrets of the Allfather that Eitri spoke of to do so. He knows that those secrets will be found in Asgard, home of the demigods. But to reach it, he must use a bridging interdimensional frequency rotating outside space-time. His onboard computer, Heimdall, hears this and complies by using the Iron Hammer armor to open the Bifrost. Stark knows what he must do, leaping into the unknown, and as he does so, he remembers everything. Years ago, his father, Howard Odin, the chief executive of the Aesir, who wears the sacred ring of Asgard, denied Stark Odinson's request to wear the armor of Asgard and fight as a warrior. Stark Odinson pleaded with his father, saying that he is just as fit as the warrior machines three, Pepper the Wise, Tawny the Grim, and Rhodey the Brave. But Stark's adopted brother Stein Odinson tells his brother to stop, as their father has already made up his mind. But Stark Odinson angrily attacks his brother, mocking him for not being half-god like the demigods, but only a human. Howard Odin has seen enough. He calls Stark Odinson unworthy and strips him of his godhood, casting him down to earth, where he became known as Sigurd Stark. Sigurd Stark at last completes his journey through the Bifrost, and he is in such shock from remembering his past life that he doesn't even notice that Asgard is deserted. He is approached from behind by Malekith, who hits him with a beam of concussive force from the Vanaheim ring. This sends Iron Hammer crashing into the prison chamber, where the Asgardians have been imprisoned in cells made of transparent uru. As Stark comes to his feet, he realizes that Malekith has stolen the 10 realm rings, one ring for each realm, and each ring has its own unique abilities. Stark sees that after the Vanaheim ring was used to hit him, its power has been used up and needs to be recharged. Malekith reveals that he already had the Svartalheim ring, Madame Hel gave him the Niflheim ring, Stein Odinson gave him the Midgard ring, and Malekith sought and took the rest. Stein Odinson has dealt with being a man among demigods, and a voice in his head tells him that he should have been a demigod too, that he should have been merged with someone else. Malekith then prepares to destroy Iron Hammer with the Asgard ring, which fires an Odin Force-powered beam of absolute destruction. Stark feels death at his side, her hand on his heart, her breath sweet in his ear. But Stark stands his ground, waiting for the perfect moment. Heimdall, open the Bifrost! The Odin Force goes through the Bifrost and hits the cells containing the Warrior Machines 3, but they are no match for the rings of Malekith. Malekith uses the Heaven Ring to access super speed in order to quickly attack, as Pepper is frozen with the Jotunheim Ring, Tawny's mace is melted by the Muspelheim Ring, and the Nidavellir Ring traps Rhodey into yet another Uru cell. But this effort distracted Malekith long enough for Sigurd Stark to bash Malekith with his hammer, made of iron, which is the bane of the elves. Malekith has used up all but 4 of his ring's power. Malekith uses the Niflheim ring to create illusionatory mists, but Stark tells him that his helmet is sealed off from these attacks. Malekith threatens to use the white light of the Alfheim ring, or the black light of the Svartalheim ring, but Stark tells him that should he be blinded, Heimdall can act as his eyes. Malekith resorts to his last ring, the Midgard ring, that blasts lightning. But this is what Stark was counting on, charging up his hammer with Malekith's lightning, preparing for the killing blow. Malekith is on his knees. He expresses his distaste for death, which offends Madame Hel greatly, as Malekith finally offers anything for his life to be spared. You'll do anything, Malekith? Anything at all. Simply ask. Algrim Vanko and Eitri the Dwarf. Return them to life! Stain warns Stark that this isn't over, and leaves. Howard Odin prepares to restore Sigurd Stark to his status as a demigod, but Stark reflects on Malekith's words on death, and says in response to his father's offer, "Father, I say thee nay." He goes to Madame Hel on bended knee to offer his respect. Madame Hel thinks he is here to mock her, as she has been shunned by the Asgardians, and even Malekith. But Sigurd Stark tells her that though he once swore never to taste the kiss of death, as a man, his lips brushed with death's, and the taste was sweet. It reminded him that he was alive. Sigurd Stark chooses to be mortal. He will die one day. But not today. Not today. The day he became the only living man to see the face of Madame Hel. The day he tasted death's kiss, but lived to make it taste even sweeter. I must say I found it interesting how each of the 10 rings represented the 10 realms. I remain quite against adding heaven as a 10th realm, but it seems that Stark Odinson was supposed to be merged with Loki, but because Loki wasn't there for the merging, something went wrong, and basically he's just Obadiah Stane. And that is the end of the Iron Hammer mini-series. Well, that's all for this episode of Thor Talk. If you want to keep up with and support Thor Talk, simply subscribe. Once again, I'd like to formally state that all art and video is owned by its respective companies, and I own none of it. With that said, see you next time on Thor Talk, where... You'll be holding